Well, let's go back to the war in Ukraine and speak to our correspondent, Gulliver Cragg, currently in Zaporizhzhia. Hello to you, Gulliver. What's the situation on the front line?
Well, the Ukrainian armed forces have now totaled 5 villages that they claim to have liberated, and most of them with photographic evidence to back that up. The 5th one, though, is in Zaporizhzhia region, right where I am now. It's a tiny place, and they say that they liberated it on the 4th of June, but I'm not quite sure why it wasn't announced at the time, either because it's so small or because they were waiting to make the announcement until they were absolutely sure they had full control of it. That is the policy. Mostly these announcements of settlements being liberated from under Russian occupation come some time after the events, and that's why there are rumours currently circulating online of several more villages having been freed by the Ukrainian army, but none of that's been confirmed. It does appear that the Russians have blown up another dam, though, and that is on the same axe that the Ukrainians have been attacking on, going south from the town of Velika Novosilka in the west of Donetsk region, and that's complicating the Ukrainian army's efforts there. I'm not sure whether it's had any impact on the civilian population. It's a small dam on a small river, nothing like the Kakhovka one, and this is very much the front line where there's intense fighting going on all the time, so not so many civilians are there, but it's had an impact on Ukraine's progress in military terms. There's fighting all along the front line. The Ukrainians are trying to not give away too much information about what's going on. Commentators are saying that although the counteroffensive clearly has started, it would be quite wrong to say that it's in full swing. When it's in full swing, apparently we should be seeing tanks advancing by the hundreds and not by the sort of dozens as we've seen so far.
And Gulliver, I believe where you are now, about 50 kilometers from the occupied nuclear power plant in Zaporizhzhia, the facility, the biggest of its kind in Europe. Its reactors need the water from that reservoir whose levels have fallen dramatically since the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam last week. How concerned are the authorities?
Well, Energoatom, the Ukrainian state-owned company that runs the nuclear power plant, says there's no reason to be too concerned in the short term because all of the reactors have been shut down. One of them actually was generating a small amount of electricity for local needs around the power station until the dam broke. That was then shut down as well. So that means they don't really need much cooling at the moment. But nevertheless, the level of concern is high enough for Rafael Grossi, the head of the IAEA, to think he ought to make a trip and see for himself how things are there. He's expected in Ukraine tomorrow, and I think in Zaporizhzhia on Wednesday.